Welcome to the Entrepreneurial CPA Show, where we take a deep dive into knowledge you need to become an entrepreneurial CPA. To get you started, it takes both sides, a little yin, a little yang, the theoretical and the practical. That's why we're here. I'm Garrett Wagner, CPA, and I'm here with the one and only Dr. Sean Stein-Smith, CPA, your entrepreneurial CPA hosts. So let's have some fun today, and let's learn something along the way. Today, we're going to discuss one of the most important factors in our shifting role as CPAs. We're to become advisors and not technicians. And that requires new skills. I know Dr. Sean and myself are constantly working on our entrepreneurial, our advisor skills, expanding our horizons. One big buzzword you hear a lot with entrepreneurs is vision. Steve Jobs famously had it. And today we're going to talk about what is vision, what isn't vision, and how we can use vision with the technology and trends that are coming today to be more advisory. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Sean.
Awesome, Garrett. Thank you for that introduction. And a sort of a statement that I would say with almost absolute confidence is that as a field and as the practitioners who are working in the field, right, the ability to have vision is arguably more important than ever before for us CPAs, right? Because it is not only good enough to do the bookkeeping, do the compliance, do the audits, or to file any sort of tax information. In order to actually keep ourselves up to date, relevant, and to add value to both our firms, ourselves, and our clients, we have to be able to offer more forward-looking advice and information. And really the whole idea of vision, I think anyway, is to understand, one, where you are right now in the marketplace, and two, to be able to understand and to peek ahead, right, where the market is going, right, what forces are out there that are driving change in the market. Now, obviously, this whole idea of forecasting events in the future isn't ever going to be perfect, right? But the ability to acknowledge and to understand what forces are actually driving that change, I think, is that extra little ingredient of vision that can help us evolve and to keep pace, really, with all of the external changes that are already happening. And Garrett, I think you have some hands-on examples for us, right?
Yeah, and you kicked it off great there because it's all about expanding those horizons, and no one can predict the future. We're never going to be able to be perfect. But as you said, it's really looking at some topics, some idea, and thinking about how does it impact my organization today, my customers, my clients, the environment, what's happening, and what does it look like as you go forward. And it's not going to be perfect. And you got to think about how those things play together. A great example of that, of where you kind of like scratch your head, is some Dr. Sean I've heard you mention recently with Kodak. Well, Kodak is this legacy film company, and now they're getting into blockchain. And you're kind of like, is that the right vision and strategy for your company? You don't see where it aligns. I sometimes look at it like, I'm going to use a little visual aid here. Like if you imagine driving this shiny little car and take that idea on a little trip and like where it's going to go. And you hit a fork in the road and you got to be able to think through, if I go right, what happens? Does this lead to prosperity or does this go off a cliff? And if I go left, what happens? Cars are a great little tool to use. We all love Tommy Boy when he destroyed the car in the guy's room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about that, but he had to go off a cliff and it burned. We're not going to burn anything today. Nope. So on the flip side, what I see all the time from CPAs, entrepreneurs, business owners is what I like to call shiny penny disease, where they see a new idea, like a shiny penny, and they pick it up and they say, this is great. And they say, okay, company, run with it. And every organization needs a why guy, the visionary, the thinker, but they got to be able to take that idea and really understand what it means, because anybody can see a shiny penny on the ground and pick it up and say, let's do this. Anybody can read an article, watch a podcast, watch a video like this and say, hey, do it, right? The visionary can really understand and think about, does it make sense for us? And that's the most important part. So Dr. Sean, do you see that in the school today? Are you guys teaching vision and how to think about strategy and plans?
Absolutely. And I think you really hit it on the head right there that honestly, bringing in a new product or a new service, right, in and of itself isn't really going to add any value, right, to the company, right? There has to be that point A being the product or service, then point B actually how it builds into your existing business and products, right? Because people aren't going to pay for something just because it's new, right? There has to be some sort of value add, and sort of the whole value add. It can either build on your current products and services, or it can be a whole new business line. But that value connection has to be there. And I know a point that I always emphasize, right, in the classroom, going out, working with entrepreneurs, associations, and all the rest, is to really understand what the new technology means, and then two, how that can be harnessed in your business, right? Because just adopting new tools is not going to build your business, right? You have to be able to understand the tools, adopt those tools, and to put them into practice in your business to actually bridge that gap.
Yep. And that's the great thing about working on having better vision and understanding and how to do it is it's really free. Because anybody in any role in the company, even the staff accountant that just started at college, you can take 3 or 4 companies that you work with right now during the busy season, write them on a list, and after tax season, when you have some time, think about those companies. And if you were in charge, if you were the CEO at that moment, knowing what you know, what would you do? And then how would you do it? And what is it going to mean? Is it going to be a new product or service? Are you going to expand the customer base? What are you going to do? And think through that. And anybody can do that. It's free. And you can keep track of that a little bit and say, hey, I think they should have done this, and a year or two later, what happened? How did the industry change? How did things shift? How do I rewrite my plan? So to all you out there, it's a great tool because it's free to practice this. You just got to keep pushing yourself every time. Think about the plan in more detail and think about more, what does everything mean along the way? With vision, you don't have to know everything down to the tiniest detail. They say, can you see the forest through the trees? You don't need to plant every tree. But I think when I look back, I think of Steve Jobs, especially, I really like to talk about Steve Jobs having great vision. When Steve Jobs had the vision to stop putting CD-ROMs in their laptops, it wasn't because he read about it somewhere or thought it was a cool idea. He saw where the industry was going, how technology was changing, how the need for CDs was going to drop off a cliff in the future. And we weren't there yet, even close. And he made that leap quickly with Apple, and it allowed them to leap ahead. They can make their laptops much smaller without a CD drive, and it fueled that change. It wasn't because he just saw some shiny penny. He really understood all the factors that drove that.
And excellent point, Garrett. I mean, it's sort of the idea of having a vision and looking forward. So that whole idea isn't even tied to any tool or idea, right? It's the ability to understand the external forces that are impacting you and your business and your client's business, and then understanding those forces, and then I think trying to see how these external ideas and forces are going to shape what you're doing going forward. You don't have to know the exact application at this exact moment, but you do have to understand sort of the broad base of how these forces are going to force you to evolve and to get out in front of those changes.
Exactly. So Dr. Sean, you got anything else to share before we wrap up today's show?
I'd say probably the most important piece of advice or insight I could add into this is to do it every day, right? For every new tool or headline out there, understand what the headline is or the tool itself, and then really try to think about what is actually driving that headline, right? Or the adoption of this new tool, and then try to understand how this new tool and the external forces that are pushing that could impact your business. See the big picture.
And that's some great advice. That's what we encourage all of our listeners to do. So with that, I'm going to wrap up today's show. I want to thank everybody. for tuning in today, no matter what platform you're watching this on. If you're looking to keep the learning going, which I hope you are, check out our entrepreneurial CPA groups, where we work with people to help them become the entrepreneur they want to be. The link to the website is right below this. So take that first step to becoming an entrepreneurial CPA. If you have a specific question from the show, please contact Dr. Sean or myself. We've been getting a lot of questions from our viewers, and we love it. We're here to help. So keep them coming, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep the learning going. As always, we challenge you to take action today to change the world and invest in yourself.